Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 2 of season 2 of Severance. In the last episode, we caught up the gang after the events of the finale of season 1. And yeah, Lachman has definitely, after their little stunt, had to kind of go on a little bit of the defensive after everything they've done publicly, especially with the Heli R thing. And I'm very curious to see where all this is going to go. Miss Cobell, of course, we haven't checked in on them. We haven't checked in on any of the Audis yet, so we don't really even know what happened to any of them outside. You know, we stayed very solely focused on the innies last episode and seeing how things have kind of altered after their actions on the inside. They've tried to kind of circumvent their ability to unite, and they've still managed, Mark still managed to kind of get around that and kind of pushed their hand a little bit and got his team back into play. I saw a lot of comments jumping in on this, and this did not click with me whatsoever in the episode. Again, I have not seen the trailer, so I have nothing to go off of, and I saw a lot of people like, well, if you do this in the trailer, clearly that's this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's why I don't watch that shit. So like a lot of people were like, dude, that's not Heli. That is 100% Helena. That is her Audi coming in here trying to find out what they know. So that's why she's been acting weird. That's why she lied to them, why she said the night thing, or the night gardener thing, which there are night gardeners. So I don't know. I saw a lot of people pushing back on that little train of thought, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've got no reason based on her relationship, her existing relationship, that I wouldn't just assume that she wouldn't want to admit that. I mean, that's a huge thing to come in there and be like, your Audi is a proponent about pushing about this belittlement of all of your existences, especially with the whole, like, the thing in the elevator that she did, like the whole videotape that was sent to her. Like, her and her Audi are like at odds, and realizing that her Audi would have been responsible and even benefiting off of everything that is happening to them, I don't know why you would even want to admit that. So like, I guess like the trailer really led a lot of people down that direction. And obviously now that I've read some of the comments, I am also on that train, because I wouldn't have thought that whatsoever. Like, I don't think there was anything weird about how she was acting based on her personal revelation. Well, that is now in a completely different light. And then also one little detail that I missed was that when they were doing the little packing, when they were sorting the data that they were sifting through as far as their macro data refinement kind of thing that they had going on, when we got to see the flip side of that, when we saw like the little like things, the little buckets that they were putting things into, when we pan over to Miss Casey's profile where they're like honed in on her and tracking her vitals, the corresponding boxes had these abbreviations for the tenets of Lumen, like the Cure tenets, principles, or whatever, the 4 core, whatever the hell they were called, I forgot. But each one of them is what was in those buckets. So it's almost as if, as we've seen with her before, like she's part of this experiment where they're definitely like brainwashing the shit out of her, and a lot of them at this point. So it's almost like they're trying to create the perfect employee by managing their personality to best suit those core tenets. That makes me even more confident in my little clone batch theory. Like, wouldn't that be like the best thing if you wouldn't have to hire anybody? You could just breed a clone force that you probably wouldn't even have to pay, that is born and bred to like live, breathe, and eat your bullshit and do everything exactly as you would want. We still haven't circled back around on why they had a dude babysitting a bunch of goats. And as we know in the real world, cloning started with sheep and goats. Well, I mean, I don't know what it started with. I think with the first successful clone of a living organism, I think was like a sheep or something like that. Anyway, I just want to get that out of there before we jump into this. So with that all said, let's get ready to hop in. If you want to see the full length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you're a member of the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up the time codes for actually an entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote what movies we react to each month. It's just a great way to support the channel, helps do the things we do over here. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate if you enjoy this reaction. Please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, and with that all said and out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 2, Goodbye, Mrs. Selvig. Here we... It's interesting. Last episode was, Hello, Miss Cobell, and now it's Goodbye, Miss Selvig. It's like she's casting out a part of herself. Or maybe it means something else.
Listen, we're not happy. We're miserable.
They torture us down there. We're prisoners.
Oh, we're right here.
Mark, so this is you now?
Yeah.
What's my name?
Persephone.
Can you spell that?
Babe.
Okay.
Need help with his diapers. Oh.
All right, what have we been up to for all these months? God, and are they even going to be able to connect the dots at all? Yeah, her and her Annie are not friends.
Fetid moppet.
Father?
God, he looks pissed. God, the cinematography in this show is just so lovely.
Find out every word they said and who they said it to.
And shall I fire them?
Let Kier guide your hand.
May the Kier be with you. I fucking love this shit, man. But yeah, I guess, I mean, just from this, I think a lot of you guys are probably spot on about that. Some people called out that she was, like, her body language was a little different too. Like, I could attribute that to the shock of this entire experience as well, and the confusion combined with the revelation that this person on the inside she's fallen in love with in this way is talking about saving this wife that he has, and that this wife is also one of them, you know? So, like, whatever. I'll just throw all that out.
And the Severn employees who were involved are being dealt with.
And now it's your turn to be dealt with.
Thank you for acting so quickly. You saved us from disaster. I personally owe you a debt of gratitude.
It cost me dearly.
And still you proved your loyalty tonight, which is why we'd like to ask you back.
In what capacity?
An apology is warranted.
Would you also like a handshake?
I apologize. My father apologizes. The board apologizes. We've treated you poorly. I'm sorry.
I welcome your contrition.
I'm so glad.
Oh my god, this is so sterile. Ugh.
We'd like to offer you a promotion.
We'll return to my previous question. What is she now
Severance Advisory
doing?
Council.
Severance Advisory Council. What does that entail?
I never heard of such a thing.
Of course
It's a
you
brand new
wouldn't have.
initiative. You'd be spearheading its formation. Your expertise is greatly valued.
I really feel like a lot of intel in here would be compartmentalized even so.
I should be running the severed floor.
Mr. Milchick has been promoted to floor manager.
She doesn't like that.
You don't value me. You fear me.
We fear no one.
He's suiting up for a mission, man.
I'll put some thought to it.
She's such a fascinating character, though.
Earlier this evening, at an event where I was excited to share my status as a severed individual with a group of friends and allies, I made the poor decision to consume alcohol while on a non-lumen medication for an arm rash. This had an inebriating effect,
Oh
which
my
caused me to see some
god.
deeply regrettable things.
She's covering it up.
How's your night been, Mr. Bailiff?
You've just been here.
Wonderful. And you're feeling well?
Oh, God. What did I eat in there?
We just need to know if anything of note occurred.
Why don't you tell me what's going on, Mr. Milcher?
You know, your Innie is a friend of mine, and he's a man of principle, which is rare, which is what makes this so difficult.
You're firing me?
That was the reason why they didn't come back, but Mark did. They strategically broke up the team until what Mark did.
And I regret to say that you were the aggressor.
Wait.
As such, I'm afraid we've no choice but to terminate your employment effective immediately.
So they lied. Well, not surprisingly, they lied to Mark.
When I said my Annie was being tortured,
What am I supposed to tell my wife?
this was a joke and a lie.
I'm sorry.
This is so disgusting, man. Oh, new intro. Oh, wow. Oh, this is what? Oh my lord. Ooh. Aww. Oh, whoa. Oh, that was cool. Holy shit. What? Oof. Oof. Oof.
Obviously, I was referencing the baby. Okay?
Yes. No, yeah.
God damn it.
Let's Occam's razor this shit. You're looking for Eleanor. You find this picture, which obviously is of interest to you, so you pick it up. And then when Patton found Eleanor, you still had it with you.
Okay, and Eleanor was in the study because...
Because Mrs. Selvig left her in there, or Cobell, whatever the fuck.
Right.
Perhaps Cobelvig would be a help.
Cobelvig.
Lie really was about the baby.
Well, you don't think it was?
No.
I do think it was.
Then why are you saying it like that?
Sorry, I'm just exhausted. It's been a weird fucking night, Mark.
Is Mark Scout here by chance?
Yes.
I would have said, fuck no, he is not.
I imagine you have a few questions.
Oh, you could say that.
May I sit with you?
Rick was like, no, no.
So,
That is a magnificent helmet.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what happened tonight is what we call the overtime contingency. It's a safeguard we employ if we ever need to access your work personage off company grounds. It seems the tech was commandeered by one of your office mates, allowing him to wake the rest of you for a period of 39 minutes. Any Mark was here.
I know, I talked to him.
What did he say to you?
If I tell you, are you gonna punish him for it?
We have no punishments at Lumen.
Yeah, okay. God, I hate this so much.
I can only imagine how violated you feel.
Speaking of violations, just wondering how common it is for your managers to commit fucking lactation fraud against their employees' families. Pretty common?
What we learned tonight is that she is quite severely unwell, and her behavior at Lumen seems to be the source of your innie's distress. She will never descend to that floor again, nor bedevil you out here any further. You've my word.
Bedevil. I've never heard that word before.
But we do need to know what we're dealing with. Is there anything you can tell me?
No, I mean, we're very tired.
Yes, we are.
I think we've just said all there is to say.
It is so interesting to me just how subtle and how well Adam Scott differentiates the way any Mark and Outie Mark behave and talk and act, their mannerisms.
What your innie did tonight was completely unauthorized. It was also very brave.
Well, he's
I'd
saying
hate to
you're
reward his courage with non-existence.
So that's why he got to stay, but also that allows them to keep an eye on him even further because he's a subject of interest, I feel like. The rest got fired, but he got to stay.
You think we're about to meet our spouses?
Maybe.
Maybe it's each other. That'd be a hoot.
Yeah, like made argument over car wash coupon.
Honey, you're cutting them wrong.
She's watching and studying her innie.
In case we don't come back.
In case we do.
Then in case we do as well, that hope.
In case we don't come back.
Oh wow, she's really invested in that moment there. Dude, look at this shot composition. That is so good.
Ain't nothing in this world these days.
I do like that we're getting to focus on all the other Audis too, though, and not just Mark.
You got this. No pressure. Be cool.
No, I wonder how much Lumen actually pays.
I think this is going to be a really great fit for me, Mr. Saliba. Ever since I was a kid, I've always felt like doors.
How old?
Sorry?
How old were you when you knew you loved doors?
5.
If you could be any kind of door, what would it be?
What the elevator?
Pocket.
Interesting.
Sorry, not elevator, but like the automated ones, like the grocery store or whatever.
Flat finish or eggshell?
Semi-gloss.
That's hot. You remind me of me, Tillman.
Yeah, funny about that.
You like kickball? You play on Fridays. There's a fun prize if you win.
You mean a door prize?
He's like, I never thought of that before.
A lot of short-term employment, and then Lumen, and they make their doors in-house. It's fucking hubris.
I was a severed employee, so...
You're a severed?
I was. But, you know, it's just me here.
Oh, he's gonna get...
I'm...
That's gonna cost him this interview.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
What?
We'll consider your application thoroughly.
That's it? Just because I'm severed?
You're a certain kind of person here, Mr. George, not a certain kind of two people. I mean, what do you think this is, a carpet factory?
What?
What does that even mean?
So he's your boss? And what about Selbig? Have you heard from her?
Oh my god, are we rolling with this, Selbig?
I was just thinking maybe there was a way we could confirm what your any meant.
You remember I identified her, right?
Yes, Mark.
I saw her body.
If we could just get like a half step more confirmation, then it's not going to be something that continues to haunt us. Do you know what I mean?
Us.
She was my family too, Mark. Fuck.
Yeah, but she was my wife.
You're not the only one her death affected.
Oh, really? It affected you? Did you have to tell her parents that she was dead? How about her students? How about this? Did your sheets smell like her for weeks afterwards?
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, if Rickon died and his body burned, I'd be sad for you, but I wouldn't be affected.
I just want to be sure.
I am sure.
But you're wrong, is the thing.
Talk to you later.
Mark.
I want to know how they pulled that off. Oh, lovely. They're being tailed. Not seen any activity over there whatsoever. Car's there, though. Oh, what are you up to? Gonna look into this Bert character.
Okay, I'm not picking up again.
Oh, they are all being tailed still. Okay, so who did he call? I couldn't make out what he was saying. It was very, very muffled. Oh. What the hell? What was that about? Oh my god.
We got off on the wrong foot last night. Okay to talk a minute? So, Mr. Scout, I know you're still weighing whether to return to Lumen. I'd like to ask you a few questions that may inform your decision. How happy are you with your current financial compensation? I ask because our endearment to you is such that a 20% bump is on the table. Should you return?
I want to know where he's at currently.
20%.
It's probably a lot, considering his house and shit.
My second question is whether a full investigation into your innie's claims and regular wellness checks from independent orbs would help you feel more excited to return.
Is that what they're doing?
It's the first step of many. My third question concerns your late wife, Gemma.
Okay.
In your intake interview, you cited her death as a primary motivator for severing. Do you remember what you said?
No.
You said since she died, every day feels like a year, that you felt like you were choking on her ghost.
Wow.
Do you still feel that way, Mr. Scout? The Mark I've come to know at Lumen is happy. He cares for people, and he's funny. He knows nothing of the pain I see in you right now. He's found love.
With who?
The solace you have given him down there will make its way to you. It just takes time. I hope you'll give us that time, Mr. Scout.
Wow, that is so manipulative. But what about this entire thing isn't?
Sister seems more uppity than he is.
So who are you bringing into MDR?
I've got a floater from overseas and a pair who were laid off from 5X. Hopefully there will be some chemistry.
We don't need chemistry. We need Mark S. back to work long enough to complete Cold Harbor.
Long enough to complete Cold Harbor. That's why he's working on her. They need him to complete the work on her because maybe subconsciously, because they have to feel the numbers or whatever the hell that meant before. What if they're all working in some way on somebody close to them? And I like how we're not following through with any of that here. We're just coming back to Audi Mark again. God, so fascinating how they display all that.
Hello, is anyone there? Is the board on? Now, I know that you want to do the right thing for severed people, which is why I need to see my team again. Please, they're my friends. You can't just make them disappear.
The board's going to give him what he wants, including Heliar. He won't finish without them.
So whatever they're doing to Miss Casey, whatever this operation is, whatever this work is, he's actually integral to it. That's why they've always been so lenient with him. Exasperated, but always giving him outs. Second chances, third chances, etc., unlike other people.
3 days of work. I broke a fucking lease in Grand Rapids. Fucking touch me. Give me another reason to sue. Fuck you, Lachman!
God, I love this whole take. Those holes on the door too is an easy place to stitch if they need to, but I love this oneer. See, they're sending her down the elevator where the field is. So that's my other thing. Like, the operations and stuff is there, obviously, in the building, even on the severed floor, as we know. So, like, my other hang up with it is, how did she get around the field?
Hello, Mark. Just back from work.
Where do you think you're going?
What do you care?
What do I trusted you. I told you what I'd gone through these past 2 years. You were in my house. I ate your shitty fucking cookies.
They convinced you to stay. Was a pineapple involved? You're so easy to sway.
Ooh.
So that's it? You're leaving?
Yup.
Are you fucking kidding?
Good thing the road wasn't iced.
Why did you do this? What the fuck is this all about? Do you know something about Gemma?
Uh-oh. The seed is growing, and her lack of response is not helping. She's like, shit, there's nothing in the handbook about this. Let's run him up. Jesus. Whoo. God. Holy shit. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. She unwittingly made this worse. You know? Oh, I love that his sister was playing devil's advocate, even though it made no sense and like every logical thing pointed to the baby given the circumstances. She's alive! You know, they was concerned about the kid because they were freaking out because they couldn't find the baby because they found out that Cobell had the baby. And they were like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where's the baby? But the thing that she was really confused about is that whole ordeal. He not only grabbed that picture, but he maintained it all the way until he deactivated. That's the one piece of the puzzle that is like all the logical conclusions from their point of view leans towards the baby. But that was the one thing she was like, why the picture? Why still holding the picture? And that's just enough. And it just bothered her so much that she kept hanging on to that. Thank God that she did. She planted that seed. And now with this confrontation here with Mrs. Selvig and that freeze, deer in the headlights response or reaction, no response, but her reaction to his, wait a second, what was this all about? What was going on that made you do what you did? We know you're not severed. We know you're aware of everything that you're doing. That much has been shared with us at this point. Why were you at my house? Why were you telling my sister? Why were you doing all these other things? What was this about? And then that little seed came to the surface, poked its little head out of the ground and was like, is this about Gemma? And then she just fucking froze. It was like, what do you say to not confirm that? Or that would even be believable in that moment. And then, of course, Cobell, in her way, has, I don't know what to, Cobelvig. I guess I gotta go with it as well. Cobelvig breaks down in one of her manic little, like, outbursts and just drives off because I think she knew she fucked up. She's also a loose end, and this is their way of keeping her off the severed floor, but they also are trying to manage her as well. And obviously, her insights in the end have proven correct, but they've also kind of been radical to the point. Like, they're very by the book for Kier and all of this crap, and she's, like, devoted, I think, even more than they are in, like, a weird sycophantic way. I mean, that's the culture that they've created, especially on the inside on the severed floor, because that's what they foster in the innies, this devotion to this character they've created, this idea of the world. And I find that absolutely fascinating. But yeah, they said they need Mark. They need Mark to continue working. Didn't let anybody else from his original team come back in, but they needed to make sure that he went back to work. They need him working long enough, at least until Cold Harbor is completed. As we saw, Cold Harbor was the label on Miss Casey's, Gemma's little profile that he was working on. And again, like they said, it was like, what did these numbers mean when they were teaching Heliar when she came in? You just have to eventually feel it. You have to just kind of let your instincts and your feeling guide you. Like, do these numbers make you happy? Do they make you sad? Whatever. You follow your feelings to which bucket that goes into. So that just makes me wonder if they're all working on the same person or if they are all working on people close to them. That's why their personal feelings matter so much. Also, we got to follow around everybody else for a little bit. We got to see a little bit of the discrimination for severed employees, as we've seen time and time and again in the show in season 1. But even on the flip side of that, with Dylan trying to get a new job, and once everything was going great, they were the same person almost. Once it came out that he was severed, though, that tune flipped, and he was no longer going to be getting that job. And then Irving was also very confused, and he went out at night to make some kind of phone call where we find Bert spying on him. Why would that be? I don't know about that one. I'm a little confused on that one, and maybe there's something I'm not remembering at this point, because there's a lot of minute details and a lot of little things that I'm not going to pick up on initial watch. And I don't know if that might be one of them, but I don't know what would have led Bert to him, even though we know what led Irving to Bert. So I don't know, man. And then getting to see the way they covered this up on the public sphere, as far as Heliar's outburst on stage publicly, said it was alcohol mixed with a non-lumen medication that made her she thought she was being funny, and quite clearly she wasn't. And that's what she passed it off as. But meanwhile, they did have to go through with some level of reform in here. But even though Mark still forced their hand by going straight to the board, and they can't complete the project if he doesn't get what he wants, and that includes Heliar. And again, that's the elevator thing. Like, if all the controls for the severed stuff is down there, to even stop what they were doing before, they had to physically go there. Milchek had to physically go and wrestle with them in the control center to even make this work, to even turn this off, to disable it. My hang up is still, and especially with Helena's kind of fascination, it seems like, to be with the kiss itself. I think she really, I don't know, we really fixated on that moment, and so did she. As I said, he needs Heliar as well, and I just don't know how, from our perspective, devil's advocate, because like you guys really did sell me on the whole thing that it may not have been Heliar down there. It may have been Helena pretending to be, and it still may be, and there may be a way around this that hasn't been revealed to us, or maybe even on the inside, because Milchek's down there now waiting on them too. He could disable it from the other side. I still think there is a lot of evidence to support, at least from my point of view, that could have been Heliar, and just the experience of being in her Audie's shoes really affected her in a way foundationally, especially coming right off of those memories and coming right back into this. I think that would really rattle a person. So I'd give her like some leeway when it comes to that, but it very well could be Helena. And there's some workaround that they got in here so they can poke and prod and kind of get that information, because they are still trying to find out what they have told people, what they did learn and all of this kind of stuff. And it would make sense for her to try to pretend to be, and maybe she's watching these tapes in order to study her, to get her mimicry down, to understand how she acts differently down there so she can try to replicate that. Hey guys, Editing Omni here real quick. I was just kind of watching through this footage at the moment, and I just want to kind of touch back on the Helena thing. Because when she's watching that footage, there's some really subtle micro expressions going on there that almost seems like she is longing for it. And we saw her interaction with her father. We saw her interactions in these other things. She's very cold, very sterile. And it's almost like maybe she's vicariously getting this intimacy in a way she doesn't get any other way through this experience through Helly. But also, we've been continuously hinting at, and they reinforced this in the last episode, about the doors, the way that Irving's Audi was painting the doors from somewhere in here, that the severance isn't 100%, that some things bleed out. It is also very possible that Helena witnessing this, is drawing out Helly. Like, those are Helly's feelings coming to the surface. And later in the episode, when Milchek is talking to him, he was like, hey, your innie has found love and joy, and while you feel pain and all this out here, eventually that'll trickle down to you. So what if that is true, but in the reverse? It's not happening to Mark just yet. It's happening from Helly to Helena. What if Helena is now feeling that connection? What if she becomes sympathetic to this cause because of that connection that Helly has made on the inside? What if she, in spite of everything, and like especially considering the dynamic that was established between these two, the events with the elevator and her video and all that, especially within the company that she is kind of wrapped up in this family on top of everything they're trying to achieve here, if she at the center of it becomes this linchpin of all things, what if she becomes the crack in the armor? I think that could be really, really interesting. But it's something that I thought about watching this back, because in the moment, sure, you could look at it as such, but just like there's the little subtle reactions to that intimate scene tells me that she's either empathizing, or that is Helly kind of acting through her, Helly's feelings coming and bubbling up from the back recesses of her mind to the surface for just a moment while watching that security footage. We'll see. I could go either way. I can see what everybody else is saying, and then again, I haven't seen the trailer, so I got no knowledge of any clips or anything to even formulate any of my opinions. So you guys have more information than I have if you've watched the trailers. That oneer, though, with all of them clocking in as everything kind of did fall back into place and Mark got what he wanted, was really, really well executed. Hey guys, Editing Omni again. Because I haven't figured out the release time for these episodes, I thought it was 3 a.m. both weeks so far, but that has proven incorrect. So I've been kind of late to get into these, which led me to something. Once I did watch this episode, I did have a little bit of break before I started editing, and somebody had already posted this online, and they synced up the checking in scene, the one from this episode, with Mark S on the inside witnessing everybody come out of the elevators, and it is exactly timed. That entire oneer with them down there as Mark is waiting for his team to return, as they slowly do one at a time from when he enters, the scene to everything else, the moment that his Audi in this scene hits the elevator and those doors close, everything is matched second to second, and that is wild. Somebody synced these things up in a video and it plays out perfectly. That just shows the level of commitment to what they're doing here with this show, man. That is awesome. Again, the cinematography just in general in this show, the shot composition in the show is so fucking good. And I love it because it also just accentuates the themes of the show so well. Like that shot of Helena in her office and Milchek coming in, that was some good shit. I'm curious to see where this is all going to go, man. Again, just like highlighting how now that we know that Gemma and Miss Stacy are integral to whatever their project is, whatever this severed floor is actually working on. And I am almost 95% committed to this like brainwash clone workforce, something like that, to where they don't even need employees from the outside world. They're coding their own. I mean, that would be the corporate dream, wouldn't it be? Anyway, guys, that's about all I got for right now, at least I can think of off the top of my head. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you. Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We're carrying the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before you go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Mandy Share, Your Course, Scott, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey L, Jake Cottrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, and Russell Crockett. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.